thought they would match us to is compatible.
I worked for Greenpeace when I was just out of school. I'm not so sure about being right anymore. Life has a habit of mellowing us all out.
Actually, Greenpeace never ruined my life. They were saving whales in the ocean, weren't they?
Yeah.
My beef is with the other environmentalists, the ones saving the spotted owl.
How were you affected?
I lost everything. I couldn't cut down trees because I wanted to protect the spotted owl habitat. So I lost my job. And without a job, I couldn't keep up with the mortgage, so I lost my house. I started drinking, and that's when my wife left me. No wife, no job, no house, no nothing. All because of the spotted owl. Then I almost ended up in jail.
How did that happen?
I had no place to live, so I just pitched a tent by a creek in the woods. I was living off mushrooms and wild fruit for a while, but then winter came and I became desperate. I was lucky enough to poach a few deer at a season, but when venison disappeared, I got mighty hungry. And that's when I saw it. Spotted owl laying up in a big pine tree. Here it was, the source of all my problems.
Did you shoot it?
What choice did I have? I was about to starve to death.
You poor dear.
Hey, even an environmentalist would get a little trigger happy if they had need for a week. I killed it and was cooking over a fire within 10 minutes. And that's when my bad luck came back to haunt me.
Oh dear, what happened?
A game warden showed up as I was halfway through eating the thing. I had spotted owl juice dripping from my lips and fingers. There was no way to deny what I was doing.
It would seem that even a game warden would feel pity for a starving man.
Actually, he did. I explained about losing my job, my house, and my wife. But what really got him was how I was obviously starving.
Sounds like he was a great human being.
Actually, he was. He was a great guy. He could have had me thrown in jail, but he gave me a break. In fact, he felt so bad, he reached in his pocket and he gave me some cash to help me through the rough times.
That's a great story. Some people can be so kind.
They can, Mildred, and thanks for being so understanding.
I just have one question, right?
Yeah,
The spotted owl, what did it taste like?
it's a little hard to describe, but I'd say it tastes a lot like bald eagle.
Your name is Gwendolyn, isn't it?
Yes, and by your card I can see that you are Mr. Worthing, Mr. Ernest Worthing. I love the name Ernest.
Is this your first time at Blind Date Incorporated, Gwendolyn?
Yes, it is Ernest.
Listen, I have something I'd like to say to you.
I would certainly advise you to do so.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you a few seconds ago, I have admired you more than any girl I have ever met since I met you.
And I admire you. Even before I met you a few seconds ago, I was far from indifferent to you. It's always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone with the name of Ernest. And there's something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. When Blind Date Incorporated first told me that my perfect match had the name of Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
Oh, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
But you don't really mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, I know this, but supposing it was something else. Do you really mean to say you could not love me then?
Ah, that was a very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life, as we know them.
Personally, Gwendolyn, to speak quite frankly, I don't much care for the name of Ernest. I don't think that name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations. Just listen to it. Ernest, Ernest, Ernest.
Well, really, Gwendolyn, I must say that I think there are lots of other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, is a wonderful name.
Jack. No, there is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all. It does not thrill, produces no vibrations. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Yes, of course.
You must not laugh at me, darling, but it has always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone with the name of Ernest. There's something in that name that inspires absolute confidence.
But, my dear Gwendolyn, do you really mean to say that you could not love me if I had some other name? I must get christened at once.
What was that?
I mean, we must get married at once. There is no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely. You know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you were not absolutely indifferent to me.
But you haven't proposed to me yet. The subject of marriage hasn't even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
Mr. Worthing, my dear, dear Ernest Worthing, I would like to tell you beforehand, quite frankly, that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn,
Yes, Ernest, what have you got to say to me?
you know what I've got to say to you.
But you don't say it!
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course, Ernest, I hope you're being serious now.
I could never deceive you. After all, how could I? with a name like Ernest,
My Ernest.
my Gwendolyn.
Thank heavens for Blind Date Incorporated! So I've been working at a local bank for the last 4 years, and a lot of reason I have trouble meeting men is that most of my co-workers are females. I mean, I guess I could hit up a local pub for eligible men, but the last thing I want is a relationship based on drinking. So I decided to try out Blind Date Incorporated.
Well, it's hard for guys too, you know. Maybe I should get a job at a bank. I work for a law firm, and the place is crowded with guys. There are a few female attorneys there, sure, but none of them would be caught dead dating their tacky. It's really hard to build any sort of relationship with any of the women there.
Computer tech, that's great. I have a computer, but I'm all thumbs about it. About all I do on it is email, and my one girlfriend has a blog that I check out every once in a while, but I'd love to learn more.
You would? Most people think it's kind of nerdy to get into computers too much.
I'm not one of them. I've wanted to learn about them for years.
Well, what do you have?
Just a cheap Dell laptop.
Well, I mean, if you want, I could come over, check out your machine, you know, show you what you can do with it.
Yeah, I'll give you my home phone number. We can set a date.
Oops. Looks like I dropped something when I took out my pen.
Is that a little yellow Lego brick?
Yes. I'm a big fan.
You play with Legos.
It's been a lifelong thing, you know? Ever since my uncle gave me a set for Christmas when I was 5.
Legos, sweet.
Want to see some photos?
Photos? Sure, you have.
Well, here's my dog.
A dog made from Legos, it's cute.
And there's my cat.
She's darling. Does she have a name?
Of course, she's Linda, the Lego cat. The dog is Louie. And there's my little fort.
Oh, you have little soldiers on the parapets.
Well, you have to have someone to guard the castle. There's my Batmobile.
It's huge. It must have taken me months to build.
Just look at those details. If you'll match that pin there, you can see the engine.
Does it run?
Not yet. I'm still waiting on Lego to send me their prototype electric motor for it.
You mean you'll actually be able to drive this thing?
Well, no reason not to. It'll be my dream car.
Is this a woman?
That's a mistake. You weren't meant to see that.
She's lovely.
It's just a toy.
Is she finished?
It's just a toy, Therese. It's not real.
Well, how long have you been working on it?
Just 2 years on this model.
There's other models.
Just just 2.
Well, does she work?
Shh. I have some details to finish up.
Have you tried her out?
Hey, all I did was kiss her. That was just once.
Well, did she kiss you back?
She's been programmed to do everything.
Well, do you have a male version?
That was my first creation. I figured I should make Adam before Eve.
Is he fully functional?
I suppose he hasn't really been tested out yet.
What's his name?
I call him Larry. Larry Lego.
You know, I must admit, your hobby scares me a bit.
I know. I'm so sorry. I guess I am a little weird.
But in a good way.
Can I still come over and look at your computer?
Yeah, here, I'd love for you to come over.
That's great. You know, honestly, I was kind of afraid I scared you off for a second there.
And, Harry,
Yes?
bring Larry and Linda along. We might have a little party.
Thank heavens for Blind Date Incorporated.
do you like coaching?
Well, you know, I guess you could say it's in my blood. I love working with the good old high school kids. They have such youth and vitality. I often work out with them myself, which gives me an added bonus of keeping me in shape.
I had trouble running when I was in school. My skin would get all sweaty and blotchy. It made me look a mess. I hated it.
Not really. I always loved running, especially when I was in school. There were some aches and pains at first, but when the endorphins kicked in, I'd get a real high from it. A natural high.
All I remember about being forced to run was how unpleasant it was to spend the next hour in a classroom with sweaty skin. It was very uncomfortable.
Didn't you take showers after running?
Some of the girls did, but I was always too shy to shower in front of others, especially since my skin was so blotchy.
Well, your skin is certainly not blotchy now.
Do you like my skin?
Your skin? Why, yes. Your skin's lovely.
Around my eyes, do you see wrinkles?
Your eyes look great. I see no wrinkles. In fact, your skin is extremely smooth.
Do you see any frown lines on my forehead?
I see the only happy and perfect forehead of an attractive woman.
Thanks for the compliment. The secret is Restoria 15.
Your story of 15?
It's a secret facial miracle that improves the skin's elasticity.
Oh, that's nice.
Restoria 15 is fast acting and allows expression lines to fade away ever so quickly.
I guess it's important to have fast acting expression line disappear.
No truer statement has ever been made. I use Restoria 15 every morning and peel away to make my skin feel supple and youthful.
I guess that stuff certainly seems to work well.
My skin is visibly reversing the effects of age. In fact, Restoria 15 defies age.
Yeah, I find exercising also does wonders for the body.
Yeah, I try to avoid exercising since it leads to perspiration and that tends to dilute Restoria 15.
And dilution is bad.
Dilution is very bad. It hinders the hydration, promotes those little wrinkles above the lips. You'll notice that my lips are just as full as a younger person's lips.
I'm 28!
What?
I said, 28.
Why did you bring that up?
Your biography didn't list your age. You look young, and you seem young, but your age wasn't listed.
What are you, some sort of ageist?
Ages?
That's a person who judges another person by their chronological age.
No, I don't think I am. But I do remember signing up for blind date. I wanted someone between 20 and 30. So tell me, how old are you?
That's a rude question.
I just want to know what I'm dealing with before we proceed any further.
Well, how old do you think I am?
Well, you look like you could be in your 20s. But all this Restoria 15 talking
Chronological age means nothing if you start each morning with a facial cleansing followed by a strict regimen of moisture penetration.
over 30,
My skin is as supple as a teenager's.
over 40.
Look at my full lips. Do you see any liver spots on my hands?
Great guard. She's over 50.
I am 64 years young, you immature little toad. I am 64, but I have the epidermal suppleness of someone much younger than you are. I am 64, but my skin is visibly reversing the effects of age. And when you are old and wrinkled and blotchy, I'll dump you for someone more young and athletic, you childish idiot. You can run all your marathons all you like, but you will still get old and blotchy. I'll be dating your high school students, and you'll be rotting away in an old age home.
Good gracious. You are one hot mama!
Don't you still want to date me?
If you'll have me. By the way, I have a wrinkle between my eyebrows.
We'll have that fixed within the week. Thanks to Restoria 15. Oh, I'm so glad to see that you showed up. My biggest worry was that you would ring at the last moment and call it off.
I have the same fear. Scary, isn't it?
Indeed, my heart is racing as if I was a teenager at my first dance.
So I see that we're the same age,
And we're both single,
similar taste in music,
like rock and roll.
a little bit of classical, no interest in opera or ballet,
We both like movies.
and plays, but not the weird ones.
We both drink, but we don't like to, overdo it.
Responsible people, good work ethic.
politically moderate,
Both like Italian food,
but not too heavy with the garlic.
old-fashioned basic food is the best.
I'm on a diet. I'll be back to smaller clothing sooner or later.
I've been wanting to diet for a long time. Maybe now would be a good time to start.
We could diet together.
So, do you like card games?
Love them. And Monopoly is like my favorite board game.
Wow, I can't believe how perfect we are for each other.
I know. I hear that sometimes people hold things back when they, first meet on a blind date.
I mean, it's only natural. I'm not perfect, not at all.
And neither am I.
Well, you seem perfect, Belinda. May I call you Belinda?
Please, and may I call you Tom?
Please, Belinda.
As I said, Tom, I'm not perfect at all. My biggest fault is that I tend to put weight on a little too easy. You see, I love to cook, and it's hard for me to turn out a well-prepared meal.
I feel the same way. I don't cook at all, but I do love a meal that's lovingly prepared.
That's a meal, right? I put a lot of love into my cooking.
My biggest fault is that I'm such a good listener that sometimes I forget to talk about myself. But I do love to listen to people and hear their stories.
That's not a fault, Tom. That's a virtue. You don't know how many men just want to talk about themselves.
And sometimes I get a little too wrapped up in sports that I throw a fit when my team loses.
That's okay. That's just team spirit.
Yeah, but sometimes I throw a few punches.
That's wonderful. You're not afraid to fight.
And I was thrown in jail several times.
There's nothing wrong with a little jail time. I mean, I spent a few nights there myself.
I have? What for?
You can't believe how picky the police can be when a woman, as myself, stands on a downtown street corner after midnight.
You're a working girl?
Well, I had to do something to put food on the table for the children.
I thought you were single.
Well, I'm now.
So am I, but I had a hard time with the first 4 wives. Can't believe how demanding they are.
So how many kids do you have, Tom?
Let's see, 8 if you don't count Donnie and Dora. I was in jail a year before they were born, so she can't hang them on me.
Oh, I have 5, but I don't count the 3 that were taken away from me.
Do you like to gamble?
I love to gamble. Lost 3 houses because of it though, but it was worth every minute.
I agree. Can't gamble and drink. What's life all about?
So you lied when you said you were a moderate drinker?
Of course I lied.
Good, because there's nothing, and I mean nothing, that I like more than going through 7 to 8 bottles with a good friend or just by myself.
That's a good girl.
I'll drink to that.
You know, Belinda, when we first met, I had doubts about us getting along. But now I can see that we're made for each other.
Thank heavens for Blind Date Incorporated.
No, this is actually my 3rd time at Blind Date Incorporated. My 2nd date turned out quite well. We dated for a few months, but fortunately, she had to move back to Bermuda with her family, and we just couldn't handle a long-distance relationship. So, is this your first time?
Yes, it is Bill, or, do you prefer William?
Bill's fine. And would you like me to call you Janet?
Yes, please, Bill. I mean, I guess I could have shortened it to Jane, but it just never crossed my mind.
Janet suits you just fine.
Thanks, Bill.
I'm not trying to seem like I'm nervous, but I guess I am. Meeting new people never gets easy for me.
I find if I put on a brave face, I can fool people into thinking I'm having a good time. I even fool myself sometimes.
Oh, it's like that song from the musical. Oh, what's it called?
I'm afraid I'm lost.
The King and I. That's a song about fooling people.
Oh, yes. And when I fool the people I fear, I fool myself as well.
Yes, I know it sounds like a childish philosophy, but I really think it works.
Childish? I don't think it sounds childish, Bill. It's just common sense.
Well, I guess you're right. So how do you think about Blind Date Incorporated so far?
I think that Blind Date Incorporated is a great company indeed. Soon I'll have many friends, and these friends will come to me through this wonderful experience.
Well, as you may know from reading my biography, I am a plumber.
That's so exciting, Bill.
Well, I wouldn't call it exciting, but puts bread on the table.
So tell me, do you work on old houses or new houses?
It depends. With the housing market the way it is lately, mostly work on old houses.
You know what they say, Bill. Even old houses need a good plumber.
Yeah, they do. So read from your biography. It says you're a writer. What kind of writer?
You see, Bill, I write children's books. I said to myself, Janet, you love children. Why don't you write a children's book? So that's what I did. I sat down and I wrote a book for children.
That must be very rewarding.
Oh, it is. Would you like to hear some of my latest story? It's very short and I have it memorized. It's called The Day the Bunny Cried.
The day the bunny cried.
Yes, Bill. It's a story about bunnies. Specifically a bunny who cries.
Well, Janet, I don't really think a story about a bunny crying is really up my alley.
The title is very misleading. It sounds like it's only for kids, but I've gotten great reviews from so many adults on this one.
You have.
Yes, Bill. Especially adults who love bunnies. Do you love bunnies, Bill?
No, but I'm actually more interested in...
The Day the Bunny Cried by Janet Crumley. One day, Brenda the bunny could not find her carrots. "Oh, oh," said Brenda the bunny, "I must find my carrots." She ran into the garden of Mr. Smith, but her carrots were not there.
I'm sorry, but I didn't mean for you to...
Bill, you must know it is extremely rude to interrupt someone when reading aloud. She ran to the garden of Mr. Brown, but her carrots were not there.
I'm sorry, but this isn't what I want.
Finally, she ran into the garden of rude Mr. Clacker. "Mr. Clacker, have you seen my carrots?" "Yes, Brenda, and I sold all of your carrots to the mean people on the hill. And by now, they've eaten all of your carrots." This made Brenda the bunny just very sad. She cried and cried, cried and cried. And this, dear reader, is the day that the... Bill? Bill, did you like my story, Bill? Bill? Did you cry when the bunny cried? Bill? You'll pay for this, Bill. Curse Blind Date Incorporated.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east. And Juliet, she's the sun. Oh, look how she lays her cheek upon that hand. That I wear glove upon that hand, that I may touch that cheek.
I mean,
She speaks.
oh Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
My ears have yet not drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo, and am I to be?
Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike.
That's wonderful, because I hate the name Romeo. However, there is a name I just adore. Any chance you would christen yourself Ernest?
With love's light wings, I'll o'erperch these walls, run on down to the chapel, and get myself a new name, just for you.
May I call you Ernest then?
You may call me anything thou liketh.
Oh, Ernest.
If I do profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, gentle sin is this, my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth at rough touch to the tender kiss.
What? What art thou saying?
Have not saints' lips and the holy palmers too?
Saints? Palmers? Why speakest thou like that?
Oh then, dear saint, the lips do what hands do.
Are you going to shake me?
Then move not when hers affect to take, thus from my lips by thine my sin is purged.
Oh, sweet and silver-tongued stranger, thou art God, then have my lips a sin that they have cooked.
Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass with the urge. Give me my sin again.
You kissed by the book, Ernest, and I want to read every chapter of it, even the index.
This is remarkable. I never thought this could happen. I thought I was too shy. I thought it was too late.
What say you this?
Well, my conversation lacks wit, and I am not what you call a handsome man. Even my sainted mother thought me a homely child. I thought it was too late in the game to ever find true love.
Oh, sweet Ernest, it's never too late.
Thanks to Blind Date Incorporated.